Hey gang, and welcome to East Coast Lumberjack. I'm the handle guy. East Coast Lumberjack, I make mostly axe handles. I also do chainsaw training. I have for 39 years, but I've made handles for the past, since 1990. So whatever that is now, that's almost 35 years. That is 35 years. So a long time. So long I'm forgetting how long it's been. Now, this week, I want to talk specifically about making an octagonal handle. Now, back in the day, octagonal handles, they're a vintage handle, okay? They're 8-sided, and it takes a little bit of time to make them, but I want to give you the key steps to making a nice one, okay? It all starts with securing good wood, okay? So when I'm talking about good wood, and again, I've been in the handle racket for a while, okay? And I don't put my handles in, well, I do put them in everything, but the biggest thing I put my handles in are 5-pound racing axes, okay? They're a big axe. They're very heavy, okay? That's an axe. So, whatever I do for a handle in this thing will likely work for anything smaller than that. So, what we do at East Coast Lumberjack is you'll see that the grain is running parallel, okay? Parallel with the length of the handle, straight up and down. Okay, both ends, straight up and down. Which means there's no run out when you come along. The only place you have run out, and it's not, well, it's run out, but it's not real run out. You don't want your grain going across the handle, okay? Anywhere along the length of it. But what happens here is down at the end, you'll see that it does cross a few grains down here. That's because the handle is widening out, it's flaring. So if your grain is perfectly straight, it has to go across a few grains if it's going and becoming wider, okay? So, nice straight grain. So, in all honesty, most of the work that you need to put in to making a good handle goes into securing good wood. So you want trees, when you look at the outside of the bark runs nice and straight, okay? These little triangles or diamonds go right on top of one another when they go up the tree. You want to avoid spiral bark, okay? And you can look at the outside of it and you'll see the diamonds kind of work their way around the tree. You don't want that, okay? The other thing you want to watch for is anomalies in the bark, okay? If you get like a curl in your bark, that means there's a knot underneath that. So those are all signs of wood that's not going to be ideal. You want basically veneer quality wood. So this is what the handle bolt looks like. Your grain is running parallel this way. And of course you have a nice flat surface to work on here. Okay, so I cut my logs 3 foot long, and then I split them all out. I pie shaped them, and there's all kinds of videos on my channel about how I do this. And then I dry those. And ash doesn't take too long to dry. A month or two and ash is nice and dry, you can work it. You want to work your wood around 10 to 12% moisture content. This, and you need a little moisture meter to determine that. They're easy to find. This is my little moisture meter here. I'll take the cover off and turn this on, and it tells me that my moisture in this block of wood is 7%. Okay, 7%, 8 I guess. So 8% is good. Anything below 10 to 12%, when you get up into 14, 16% moisture content, it's a lot harder to work. Now the guy that taught me to make axe handles loved to work his ash when it was wet. And if his block like this wasn't wet, he had a tray filled with water, he'd put it in there and get it moist to work it, because it works, the way he did his handles, it worked a lot easier for him. I do all my handles dry. I like doing them dry. So, again, the first step in a good axe handle is securing good wood. Nice straight grained wood, top to bottom, nice and flat, and then of course, that is really the key to making a good axe handle. From there, what I do is I draw my pattern out on top of my bolt of wood. I call them bolts. And I draw out my pattern. Then I cut the 2 sides off of that, and you want to make sure that the top is parallel with the bottom. And the length of that handle, when you cut it out, you don't want one this way and one this way. Because as you turn it to lay it on its side to cut the next 2 sides, is going to wallop when it goes down through your bandsaw, and your handles are going to wind up crooked. So both ends have to be parallel. It's got to be straight the whole way along there. And when you lay it on your table, the next two sides are going to be nice and straight because you're going along and that handle isn't deviating at all. It's going nice and straight the whole way through your cut. So once you do that, you'll have a four-sided axe handle. All I do then is I turn my handle on its side and I cut off these corners. Okay, I cut off those two corners and I flip it over and cut off these two corners. And what you want to do, you want to take a pen or a pencil and just hold it in your hand and run down along the side of it. So you have a nice straight line the whole way along it. The straighter you make your cuts here, cutting the handle out, the easier this part is when you're finishing it. I'm now going to show you how to finish an 8-sided or octagonal handle. So once you have it done, so these two sides are straight, these two sides are straight, and if you look down that, you can see there's a little bit of wobble because, of course, on a bandsaw, it's impossible to get things perfect. It takes a long time. Now, I was a little bit quick on this one for a reason, because I want to show you how to finish them. If everything's nice and straight, it's pretty simple from there to do it. So, to finish an octagonal handle, what you want to do first of all is work on the long flat side, both of them. Okay, so I'm going to do this side first, then I'll flip it over and do the other side. And what you want to do is run along with your spoke shave, and you want to make sure this is nice and flat and straight, top to bottom. Okay, so I'm just running my spoke shave along it here, nice and straight and smooth. And I can feel there's a few little bumps in it. Okay, there's a couple of high spots, so I want to take those out and make this just as straight as I can. It'd be easier if I go this way. So we know that we have a nice, we need 4 nice smooth surfaces. Flat, smooth, parallel surfaces at right angles to one another. So this is, it's still a little bit high, right? I can feel with my fingers it's a little high right there. Okay, so I want to take that out. A little bit, it's rounded a little bit right here, so I'm going to flatten this out. Okay, that's pretty good. So now what you want to do, you want to take a really flat tool that will cut. And one of the best ones for that is my Shinto wood rasp. Okay, so this is a Shinto wood rasp. And the good thing about this is it's hard and it's very flat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this up along this side, because if it's nice and flat, if I'm going the whole way top to bottom, it will take out my high points, my high spots, automatically, because it's flat itself. I'm going to work it back and forth and up and down. And it will make sure this side is as flat as it can be. Okay, the top is really good. It's touching everywhere there. Right here in the middle, it's a little bit high in one spot, so I'm just going to keep going across it until it's nice and flat the whole way across. Same as right here. And you want to go until your Shinto tool is touching everywhere. If there's a little low spot where it's not touching, you want to see your little striations in that low spot, which tells you it's flat the whole way along. Okay, so test it with your hand. Okay, your fingers will tell you a lot. And I can feel I'm high right there. And I'm high right here. Okay, so high right there. I'm going to go back to my Shinto. Bring that down. on this high spot here. Bring it in. Usually your high spots occur where you have grain run out, okay, where there's 1 or 2 grains coming out through your handle. Okay, so that's nice and flat. So now I have a nice, perfectly flat surface the whole way along this side. Okay, so the whole way along this side, you can see the Shinto wood rasp is touching everywhere there. These are the spots right here where you have you're crossing a wood grain. Those are the ones you want to watch that will be high on you. So this side here, if you look at it, you can see like there's a bump here. You know, there's striations all the way along. There's a bump here I can see. So this one needs to look the same as this side. So flip it over. We have one side done of our 8 sides. But it's a key side, okay? If we get this side, and this side flat, this side here is really narrow, okay? There's not a lot of wood there. So it doesn't take long to flatten it. This here is the side that matters. So again, Shinto wood rasp. I know I'm high here, so I'm just going to take off these high spots and flatten this handle the whole length of it. So there's a fine side and a coarse side to the Shinto. So I know I've got to take a little bit more wood off here, so I'm going to flip over to my coarse side and get that wood off of there a little bit faster. A lot faster, actually. Look at that. What a great tool. Especially for flattening an axe handle. There, so we're good. We're good halfway up right now. Okay, so I can see my striations the whole way across the handle. So I'm going to flip to my fine side and finish it with this fine teeth. Making sure again the handle is nice and flat and smooth the whole length. Okay, there we go. So use your fingers again. So it's the same thickness the whole way along that I can feel it. Nice and straight and smooth. So that's what we want. Okay, so once we have both those sides done, I'll show you this side here up close. So all those little, you can see the striations there of the Shinto the whole way along, nice and flat right to the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to turn it this way and do our 2 sides. Same thing. So you want 4 true sides to start from on an octagonal axe. Now, my son loves these octagonal handles. When you put them in your hand, it actually, if you hold your hand like this, you can see it's not perfectly oval in there, okay? Because of your knuckles and stuff, you've got almost the same shape in your hand as that octagonal handle. And it was actually Don Quigley, so hats off to Don Quigley from the University of New Hampshire. He's now retired. He told me years ago, an octagonal handle is a great handle because you can feel where that axe is. Okay, with an oval handle, you don't know exactly where your bit is. When it's flattened on both sides, you can, if you're holding those 2 sides straight, parallel, you know your blade is parallel with those. So it's actually quite handy for using in a tool if you want to be accurate with it. So we're going to do the same thing. Now on this side here, I want to run my tool more up and down because I want to take out any little bumps that are going along this way, porpoising. Okay, and there's a little bit of it. So I'm going to take those out by running our tool straight up and down. There we go, nice. I'll finish up by the top here, by the neck. I've got to turn it a little bit sideways for that, of course. Okay, so let your fingers tell you. Nice and straight there. So that's the third side. See how quickly that one was done? So that's side number 3, and this is side number 4. So the theory, or the practical side of this, whatever. The theory is if you have 4 parallel, perfectly square sides, all you got to do then is just make sure your 2 side pieces, the ones that are cut out on an angle, are the same distance. Just make sure you have the same thickness from one end to the other. And then your handle will be true. So that's what we're doing here. So we're starting out with our 4 sides, making them perfectly parallel and straight. Once those are straight and parallel, the side pieces are the easy part. They're easy. Again, you can see how this builds. If you make sure, the first step is crucial. Make sure you have nice straight grained wood. Okay, nice and dry, below 10% moisture content, 10 to 12. And then of course you run through the bandsaw and keep everything parallel and straight there. If you do your work right up front, it makes this part of it a whole lot easier. And that's really the goal of it. So, you just can't all of a sudden run out to the barn and make yourself a nice straight handle. Okay, it takes work. The whole anything worth doing, she's worth doing right. Right, Dale? That's what Dale would say. There, so and they're nice and straight there now too. I can feel right along with my fingers, they're nice and straight. So once you get those done nice, you can actually finish them off if you want with your spoke shave, okay, to make them nice and clean. Nice and easy and smooth. Going against the grain there, so I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm taking a little bit more out here because it was a little bit narrow, okay? So I want the same width, that same width the whole way down here. I'm getting it now at the bottom here by coming in a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Same thing to this side with the spoke shave. Because then, all I have to do then is the last 4 sides. Same thing here, I need to make it a little bit wider in this palm swell. So now, once I have those done, I want to try to show you. I want to try to show you what we're going to look at. So if you look up the length of this handle, you can see on this side here, you can see your bevel, okay? And it changes angles here a little bit, and it changes width a little bit. So I want to use my spoke shave. Maybe we can see it on this side a little. Okay, not bad on this side. I want to take my spoke shave along here, and I want to make that the same angle and the same width the whole way along that. So the spoke shave is what I'm going to use to do that with. Okay, so again, this is a tricky part. So you want to use your spoke shave and nice little strokes, nice little flat, smooth strokes. You want the same width the whole way along. So right here it's a little narrow, so I'm going to make 2 or 3 extra swipes right here to make sure it's the same width the whole way along. It gets a little bit narrower here at the bottom. Do a few more strokes, make it a little bit wider. Now, at the very bottom part, where it flares out into your palm swell, I use my Nicholson, and I'm just going to keep the same angle, and I'm going to smooth those lines out of there that the bandsaw made. There we go. So same width the whole way up along. So I'm going to try to keep that same angle, and this is basically sanding what I just did with the spoke shave. And any place I see it wobbles just a little bit, I'm going to straighten it. There. Just like that, that side's done. Okay? So this is side number 5. And if we look at it, you can see it running right up along here, nice and straight. So my line on the top is nice and straight. My line here is there's a little bit of wobble in it, but not bad. Okay? So that one's all done. Now I'm just going to keep, because of your light, I want to just keep rolling it over. Now I'm going to go to the flat side because I can see this next line nice and clear. I'm going to do the same thing. Take my spoke shave, come along it here nice and I'm just taking those lines out, keeping it the same width and running it nice and straight. It needs to be a little wider here, so a couple extra strokes. Now my grain, I'm cutting into my grain, so I'm going to flip my spoke shave around and go the opposite way. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Now then you have to do that. Same width along there, same width right here, and then I'm down to the bottom where I need my Nicholson again. So same thing, I'm going to go back and forth here on that same angle. Make sure those lines are nice and straight the whole way along here. There we go. Okay, so there's 2 sides done more. Okay, so now we've got 6 of the 8 sides done. There we go, right there. Okay, so there's a little wobble right there, just a whisker right here. Most of that's nice and straight. This one here, same thing, nice and straight. Okay, that looks pretty nice. So if we do the last 2, then we can start sanding. So same thing. So again, the key is to have nice straight sides. So do your big sides first. Make sure they're nice and flat and straight the whole way along. Once you do those, do your 2 side pieces, nice and flat and straight. Once those are done, then go to your bevels on the sides. And again, the whole idea is to make them the same width the whole way along. That. I'm going to do that other one right here. There. I just have to finish the bottom. So around this bottom palm swell, just taking out the lines. There we go, all along that one, same thing here. There we go. Okay, so an octagonal handle, and it, man, it feels beautiful in the hands. Okay, so now you can see that that side there nice and straight, that one there nice and straight, this one straight as a die right there, this side nice and straight, this one just a couple wobbles in that. Okay, so almost every side straight as can be, just a couple of wobbles in this one. So I will go back and straighten those out. And then I'm just going to sand it. Okay, sand that all down, top to bottom. Oh, the key part of this. I should show you this. So I'm going to put my rubber jaws in my vise and shorten the handle in here a little bit. Okay, so now what I want to do, now we have to put the same hex on the whole way around. So normally I will bevel this off down here, and all I'm going to do now, I'm going to bevel it. Use my Shinto, it's more aggressive. So I want the same width. So I've done the flat side here. Now I'll do the flat side here to the same width. Okay, so I've done this side here. You can see the bevel here, and I've got a bevel here. Now once you get the two bevels on both of those sides, you can do the bevel in between, this one here. I'm just going to come down here, keep it the same angle, and you want to make sure that this point meets and the one below it meets. They all have to meet the same. There. So this is probably the trickiest part to do. Okay, but if you look at this, you can see this bevel here meets right, that point meets perfect. This one here meets perfect, and now I can go move my way around. So this part matters. This is a nice final touch on an octagonal handle. And it takes a little bit of skill, a little bit of experience. There it is right there, so that's perfect. So now I have all these sides here done, so I'm going to go with my Nicholson and smooth them out. Just the way I want them there now. Everything meets perfect. There we go. So that side there's done. So now we just have 3 more to go. So we're going to flip it over, same thing, use your Shinto, it's a little bit more aggressive. Same width, your bevel the whole way along here. And then of course the two sides are already done, so now we just go to this bevel and the other bevel on this side. Not too aggressive, you just want to make the meat perfect. There we go. And I can flip back to my Nicholson. This side here. There. So when that one's done, you can see the bevel the whole way around this. Let's see now if I can. Maybe this way here. There we go. Okay, see that? That's the kind of bevel you want the whole way around it. Just like that. Okay, so that is an octagonal handle, start to finish, and all the key tricks to making it work right. Okay? It matters to start with a good straight handle. Good straight handle wood. Now all I have to do is sand that baby, and it's headed to Ontario. Thanks for joining me. Come back again next week.